Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your guy Richard and I'm back with another interesting video. To the returning subscribers, welcome back and thank you so much for your support. For those who have not subscribed, kindly do subscribe, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. So today again I have another video with my best friend here, the best doctor in town. How are you guys?
I'm good. Hi guys.
So Jonte, size these people they know you very well now because it has been, you have done some like 2-3 videos with us, so they know you better. But today there is a topic that nataka to discuss about, whereby there is this pregnant women. So when the first video we did with you, we were talking about the common test or the common tests in pregnancy, whereby we were able to talk about the tests that we usually do, and you told us about the HB level, the urinalysis which you usually do. But the most interesting part of it now, I want us to discuss about the sugar levels. Why is it important in pregnancy?
So sugar levels in pregnancy is key, is very important to our ladies, number one, and to our babies, that's the infants. I'd say talking about sugar levels for the ladies is key. She might be diabetic and she might not be knowing the fact that she's diabetic, and there are hormones that she has that will trigger actually this problem of sugar, that is diabetes, if it is not well or if it is not well managed. So it's very important to actually test for a blood sugar during your pregnancy or at a certain point in your pregnancy. Yes.
Yeah. So you mean like testing for blood sugar, it's not just for those clans who are diabetic.
Yep.
So sometimes the sugar levels can they can spike during pregnancy.
Sure.
Okay.
So you find it like I had told you, like we always do a blood sugar when you start your clinic, right? So when we are testing for that blood sugar, if we find that it is normal, it is okay. But if we find that you are diabetic, it might be that you have always been diabetic, that is prior to your pregnancy.
Okay. But you are not aware.
Yes.
So you have told us about okay, it's not so you may the sugars might spike during pregnancy.
Sure.
Then after pregnancy they come back to normal.
Yes, there are those that come back to normal, but there are those that still persist being high. So with diabetic, the thing is, if it comes up at a certain point in your pregnancy, it might persist if it's not well taken care of. Number one. Okay. So if it persists after the pregnancy and we hadn't tested for this test, it might be something that is permanent to you. But there are those that are lucky that after you deliver, since it's the hormones that you had that were affecting your insulin production or something to do with your pancreas, that is the insulin production, it might reverse back. It might everything might go back to normal. Yes, delivery. But those are chances. But so it is very important to do this test. So
okay. So another question, maybe why are you usually interested so much with the sugar levels? Why the interest in the sugar levels during pregnancy?
So why the interest? Number one, if we check your blood sugar when you're starting the journey, number one, we might notice that the levels are okay, or we might notice the levels are not okay. If the levels are not okay, that means that you might be having a problem with your insulin, that is production of glucose. You might have a problem with a reabsorption of your sugars. So let's talk about specifically this test that we are talking about, which is done to pregnant ladies. Now, assuming that we have done your NC profile, okay, we've seen that maybe the levels are okay, the levels are normal. So we'll go with you to the whole journey up to around 24 weeks. At around 24 weeks, that's when we are supposed to do this test called OGTT.
OGTT.
Yes.
OGTT in
oral glucose tolerance test. Yes.
OGTT.
Yes.
So why the OGTT? Why is it important? At 24 weeks.
At 24 weeks.
So it is important for any mother who is pregnant to be done to go through the test OGTT.
Yes.
Whether you are diabetic or not.
Whether you're diabetic or not.
Or at 24 weeks.
At 24 weeks.
Okay.
Importance of the same is, assuming, with OGTT, it's increase in sugar at a certain month, I'd say weeks in your pregnancy. So when the sugars are high at this certain point, imagine, like we said before, that you feed your baby through blood, right?
Yeah, yes.
So if your sugar levels in the blood are high, that means that the sugar levels that you are going to the glucose that is going to be transferred, if the glucose levels in your blood are high, it means that the glucose that is going to be transferred to the baby will still be high.
Will be high.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So what happens when you eat a lot, even for a normal human being?
When you eat a lot, so the blood sugar levels will go high.
Yes, that's number one. It might go high, and definitely utakuwa na mwili kama yangu na wewe ni katoto. Yes, so definitely you increase in your size.
In your size,
Sindio?
Okay.
So if you increase in your size, number one, if you increase your size, we go to number two. What happens? The placenta doesn't change in size. It changes with you during certain gestational times. So assuming you are growing more than the placenta, that means you won't even reach term. So
you are straining the placenta.
You are straining the placenta. So hautafikisha term.
You are demanding more than the supply.
You are demanding more than the supply. You are bigger than the house.
So that's the baby.
Yes, that's the baby. So what does it mean? Utatolewa before term.
Okay.
You will be delivered before term.
Before term.
Yes.
Then also something I understand, still on the same. So because we have talked about now the baby will be big in short, like we risk having a big baby whom maybe sometimes could not be delivered even normally.
Perfect. That's the third thing. So it's you increase in your size. Unakuwa mkubwa kushinda nyumba. Ukishifika hapo mlango tulikuwa tumewekea this certain type of people umepita hiyo kiwango. Sasa hata mlango yetu huwezi pita. So what do? We devise a method that we will be able to get you out of there.
Of course, a safer method.
A safer method.
Yeah. So let's go back to this now OGTT. You said we usually do the OGTT, the oral glucose tolerance test, at 24 weeks.
24.
What's the importance of it? So you have told. What's the importance of it?
The importance of this is to rule out number one, gestational diabetes. So there are three types of diabetes. Kuna type 1, type 2, and gestational diabetes lies in the type 2. Sindio? So with gestational diabetes, this is a diabetes that has come up as a result of pregnancy. Number one, so gestational.
Yeah, because of pregnancy.
Because of pregnancy. Again, it manifests itself on the second trimester, that is 24 and 28 weeks.
24, 28 weeks.
Yes.
Okay.
Sawa. So it's very important to actually check during these periods. That's when that's when gestational diabetes actually manifests itself. Yes.
So how do you prepare someone for OGTT? Like, what happens now?
Perfect.
Now the mother has come. Can I come at 3 p.m. for OGTT? No. Can I come at 2 p.m.? So how do you prepare this client for OGTT?
It's very important actually, because the success of an OGTT test is dependent on preparation.
Okay.
If you prepare well, we get the right results. If you go do things that we haven't told you, you will come here and you will be put under medication, number one, or you'll be put under nutritional clinics that maybe you are not supposed to. So it's very important to actually prepare well, and by preparing well, these are the steps you take. So number one for key preparation is we need you in a fasting state. Keyword fasting
state.
There are two types of fasting now, depending on science. Number two, depending on religious. Now we are talking science. If we are talking science, fasting is between 8 to 12 hours. 8 to 12 hours.
Okay. That's fasting.
That is fasting.
Without eating anything.
Without eating
water,
anything.
No fruit.
Yes.
Nothing.
Fasting. So we assume even if you take a sweet, that is, if you take a sweet, it impairs your sugar. Unaona? So it adds glucose to your blood. And when you come, unaweza assume daktari hatajua, let me take a sweet as I come to the hospital. That sugar, kumbuka mwili yako the whole night umekuwa umedeprive glucose. So the moment umeka hiyo glucose kidogo, itatumika very fast. So unaweza kuja pale, you know, for fasting blood sugar levels zinakuanga up to 5.6. A normal blood sugar might go up to 7.8 and it's normal. So you might end up taking that sweet and then inakupeleka skari to 7.8. Now that's the fasting. So if the fasting already is abnormal, we cannot continue with the test. Sawa. So let's go back first to preparation so that we can we will just reach to the mode of the test, every other thing, and we'll explain that. But now on preparation, as I was saying, it is important. I've said 8 to 12 hours. So ile ya Mackenzie is starvation. There are two types. So there is this that you're talking about, fasting, but when you go past 12 hours, that is starvation. So 8 hours, we mean you cannot come earlier than 8 hours, because we assume, or scientifically, the food that you eat takes around 8 hours to get digested, metabolized, and get used up by the body. So once it is used up, the body will stay in that constant form for a certain period of time. That is 8 now those 8 to 12 hours. After 12 hours, now that you're expectant, your body now senses, hey, now by the way, for 12 hours I have not eaten. What is happening? I'm fasting. Why am I fasting, Bana? What is wrong? So your body does something called glycolysis. Glycolysis is a process where glucose is broken down, fat is broken down to glucose. So now that is broken down to compensate for that glucose that you haven't taken. So it is key, and it is very important to observe. Past 12 hours, your body is in the starvation mode. Before 8 hours, your body hasn't depleted the glucose that you ate from your supper. So let's go back to preparation. So we assume that maybe you're coming for OGTT tomorrow, right? So today you're supposed to eat your supper at around 8
p.m.
or let's say 9. So at 9 you're supposed to take your supper. If that day, if you have a schedule for how you eat, if that day was ugali and skuma, let it not be any other thing. Don't prepare abnormally. Prepare it normally. If the schedule says today is ugali sukuma, eat that ugali sukuma. Ama kama umezoea kukula kila siku sapa this specific type of food, hiyo siku juu unakuja test, don't change. We want how your body is, how your body is used to. Sawa. So kama leo ni ugali skuma, eat ugali skuma.
Don't change useme leo acha nikule na cake kidogo,
na cake ni chachishe na kasoda.
Just be yourself.
Be yourself.
If you're planning for ugali beef, should be
ugali beef. Perfect. If now you eat and then you take a soda later, do that. But now remember, all those later things zisipite saa 3.
9 p.m.
9 p.m. Again, kumbuka tulisema ni 12 hours. So kama tumekuambia you should eat between 8 and 9. 8 and 9. Don't eat at 7. Don't eat at 6. Because if you eat at 7 and you come here at 9, see those are around 14 hours.
14 hours.
So we are saying between 8 and 9. We want a maximum of 12 and a minimum of 8.
So the timing is very important.
Timing is key to this test.
Okay.
So by 8, between 8 and 9, you prepare, you eat between those periods. After you've eaten that, don't take anything else.
Okay.
Apart from water. Yes.
So water you can take.
Water you can take. And then let it be pure water. By pure I mean usiongeze kaskari, usiongeze chumvi, usiongeze nini. Let it be pure water as it is coming from the dispenser, as it is coming from the tap, whichever way. Yes.
So I've come now it is now 9. Also I ate 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
I've come now to your facility at 8 a.m.
Yes. Now key to what you've said is that Now si tumesema ni 8, so if it is 8 you should not come anything past 8. So
okay.
If it's 8, that's why we say between 8 and 9, so you have 8:30, you have to 8:49 to be at the facility. So remember, no breakfast for this day. If you're preparing your kids, prepare them, let them take tea, and then it's very important for spouses to help their actually their ladies during this period. So for you guy, if it will be okay if it's just the two of you, pia usikunywe chai, support her in this journey, sawa. So
akusaidia kufast,
saidia kufast, it's important. Juu kama anaenda kupikia tu mzee peke yake, imagine this lady atakuwa tempted kukula now that you're eating, but if it's the kids who are eating, I'm pretty sure they hatakuwa tempted. So don't tempt the ladies, so let them let you and the lady not eat that day, sawa. So at 8, between 8 and 9 we assume you're here. You can come as early as 7 because we have 8 hours. You can come as early as 6:30 because it's still between 8 hours. So once you're here, again remember this test is supposed to take 2 hours. So for the 2 hours we will be running a blood glucose test at intervals ya 1 hour. So at our facility we run it at an interval ya 1 hour. So as soon as you are the facility, the first thing that we do is that we do what we call fasting blood sugar.
Okay, because you are fasting.
Now the whole reason for you fasting between 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. is for this test, fasting blood sugar.
Oh, yeah.
So
sure.
Fasting blood sugar, we test if the fasting blood sugar are within the normal ranges. I won't talk about ranges because every range is actually, you come up with your own ranges depending to your clients. Okay. So if they are within the normal ranges, we proceed. Again, if the fasting blood sugar is high, if your normal ranges, yes, if it's above the normal range, if your normal range is X and yours is above X, what is the reason of giving this person, what is the reason of taking this person to the next step? So let's give values. For example, if it's your high is 5.6 millimoles per liter, if your high is 5.6, if this client comes and you test the first blood sugar, that is fasting blood sugar, and it is 7.1,
that's already high.
That is already high. And high means that you are at a risk, or you already have gestational diabetes.
Oh, okay.
So there is no need of doing this test. You will hear what is coming after the fasting. Now, after this fasting blood sugar, so after the fasting blood sugar, we do what we call, we give you a certain amount of measured glucose. So
if we test, then you find it's
if it's negative, if it is normal range of fasting blood sugar, what we do next is that we prepare a mixture of glucose and water, certain amount, that is 75 grams of glucose in maybe 300 millimoles, in 300 mils of water. It might be 300, it might be 250, depending on with what you're using. But if you're using 375 grams of glucose, you add to 300 mils of water, and then you mix. That mixture is given now to the lady. That is a lady who has normal fasting blood sugar. Are we together to that point?
Yeah.
So after we give that lady that mixture, we have a special place where you now tell the lady, you release the lady to that special place where you encourage them to be in a seated for that period of 1 hour. If they have something like a book, if they can use internet, it's very important for this time for you to be very calm. You have to be seated, you have to be reading something, maybe for 1 hour,
watching a movie,
yes, for 1 hour. After that 1 hour is done, we do another test. Now remember, 1 hour you've come, fasting blood sugar normal, we give you glucose. Measured amount of glucose, you take it, and then we give you 1 hour break. Again, it's very important. If you feel you might feel nauseated as you take this water, so we allow you to take it slowly, around 3 minutes. Again, if you take it too slowly, we impair the time. So timing in this test is key.
Important, huh?
Yeah, it's very important. So we give you like 3 minutes to take that water, and then after 1 hour you will come back for another test. But now after this 1 hour you come back for another test. We will do now what we call random blood sugar. So we are done with the fasting blood sugar. Now we go to random blood sugar. So at doing random blood sugar is just the same. You just do a prick. You can use venous blood. We test again. If it's normal, we proceed. But remember, after the first 1 hour, this now, as we do the random blood sugar, we will send you for a urine sample.
Okay.
Why are we using? Why do you think we are now sending you for the urine sample? It's very important for this urine because we need to know if more of your glucose is being released via your kidneys now. If you're excreting too much glucose, yes, because if you're excreting too much glucose, again, remember, the baby might not be getting enough glucose.
Okay.
Because you are releasing too much your glucose to the urine. It's very important to check that. So again, we check for proteins, we check for ketones, we check for glucose. All this can be seen in urine. So if your 1 hour blood sugar is normal, if your if your all these things in your urine is nil, that is, there is nothing there, we wait for another 1 hour. Remember this 1 hour, now that you had already taken sugar, so we expect your fasting to be a little bit lower, though within the normal ranges. After 1 hour, we expect your sugar levels to be high. But within the normal ranges.
Within the normal ranges. We expect it to be high. Higher than the previous. But
higher than the previous.
Okay.
Yes, but within the normal ranges. It might even be higher than the normal ranges, but within the normal ranges.
Okay.
We together? Higher than the normal ranges,
but
still the normal ranges.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The normal ranges for that 1 hour.
Okay.
Now, at the second hour, we are supposed to do another test.
Now we're not taking any glucose again.
Yes, you are not taking any glucose. Now we are trying to observe this glucose that we gave you. As we are starting the test, we are observing how your body is reacting to this glucose. So the same way it is reacting to this glucose is the same way every time you eat, it's the same way that glucose is utilized in your body.
Okay.
Right?
I get you.
Yes. So after now 1 hour, we are going to the second hour. Remember, 1 hour we are doing urine and blood sugar. And then now the third hour we are doing only blood glucose, that is random blood sugar. Reason being, I told you this first hour the sugar is supposed to be high, but now a little bit higher than the normal ranges. But now after the second hour your sugar should be normal, within the normal ranges. So should be normal. Yes, should be. Like if I test now, this sugar that I'm going to check, that is what I'm calling. If it will be normal ranges, it will be normal. It will be normal because I'm also checking within what I'm expecting now.
Yeah, you have the parameters where you're expecting it. Yeah. So assuming like the first one was 5 points, let's say 4.0.
Let's give them figures.
Fasting, like the fasting just straight from home, the first test, the fasting blood sugar was 4.0.
Yes.
Then after taking the glucose, which we gave the 75,
goes to 8.9.
It goes to 8.9. It is still within the normal.
It is within the normal for that 1 hour.
For that 1 hour.
But if I prick myself now and find it is 8.9, it is not normal.
Okay. Now I get it now.
But now after the second hour, when I prick and it goes back to 7.8, that is normal.
Because it has
it is a curve.
It's a curve.
Yes. So it is a curve. Low, high, and then back to normal. So if that's the curve that it portrays, that is very much okay. But again, there are those that you find the fasting blood sugar is normal. We give you glucose, you come after 1 hour, the fasting blood sugar is at 12. that's high, right, and not within the normal ranges. And then if you wait for another 1 hour, it goes from 12 to 15. That is very high.
Very high.
Now we are saying that in those cases, chances are you have gestational diabetes. Yes. So I didn't mention the ranges because every facility or whichever, depending on where you're watching this from, you have your own normal ranges that is accepted with your Ministry of Health there. So I won't mention the ranges, but yes, that's the normal. That's basically how OGTT.
So the tests are 3.
The tests are 3
from home. Then after 1 hour after taking the glucose, then you rest another 1 hour, then we retest again.
Yes.
So we need all those to be within the normal.
We need all those to be within the normal.
If any of them goes past whatever we need, past the normal parameters, now that you have now gestational diabetes.
Yes.
So can now be started on medications.
So there are those that are glucose intolerant at that moment, and there are those that are already those that have gestational diabetes. You know, you might be glucose intolerant. It's a little bit it's not that high, it's just a little bit high, it's just off with certain values. That's you're just intolerant at that moment. But again, there are those that are glucose, they now have the gestational diabetes. So for those, we always advise them to seek guidance from a gynecologist. It's very important during these times, because as we said, if these sugars are normal, it affects the baby. It affects the baby in such a way that you're feeding the baby using blood. If you're feeding the baby using blood, that means the baby is getting more glucose than the baby is expecting to get. So the baby grows big. If the baby grows big, it becomes bigger than the house. The baby is bigger than the house. Remember, that house has a door. Then it will be almost impossible for that baby to pass through that door. So what we do, there are methods that are used for actually now getting that baby out of the womb in a safer way. In a safer way. So but remember, they are still preterm, so it's very important to test. Once we test, it's key to know that it's key to know that there are things that we can mitigate. There are things that we can help you. It's not all about testing and telling you you're positive or you're negative for this disease. It's if you're positive, there are steps that we take. Again, like that time I said, nutritional clinic for this is very important. You are told on foods that are important, foods that you can take, and they'll actually help you solve. Again, if the foods don't work, we go to medication.
So you can manage this by just diet. You just adjust your diet.
It's just about
adjusting. You will be given medications to start taking immediately. No. So it's just adjust your diet and so. But you will be maybe checking the sugars more frequently now.
Yes.
Because there is now an alarm somewhere. So you'll be maybe checking it. Maybe how many often daily or so. Or depending with the advice from the doctor.
No, it depends with the advice from the doctor, because you know we always say in this line of duties, you only do to your level, not your best, to your line. After now the client steps out of that line, you send it to the other specialist who will be able to get the client. So if I'm pretty sure that there are levels that are normal, that are a little bit abnormal, that can be sorted by the diet, but there are those levels that are very high. And remember, this is expectancy, and you're the second trimester. Those are the last stages here. Second trimester, right?
Yes,
so when you're going to the third trimester, we need everything to be okay. So you might at some point get some advice to use medication.
Thank you so much for that. So our viewers, I think you have learned something. So the main point where we wanted to focus on was about the sugar levels and how to control it in pregnancy.
Yes.
Because some clients or some women could not be knowing this. So for them, maybe they just think once pregnancy it's okay and you are not diabetic. So nothing can happen in pregnancy. So pregnancy can make you be diabetic, isn't it?
Sure.
So pregnancy itself can bring the diabetes, the issue with the glucose intolerance in your body. So you just need to be checking on it and make sure you do the OGTT. It's not for the diabetic mothers, but for everybody. For everybody, you just need to do the OGTT, that the test that you are being told to do at 24 weeks, so that by that time if it's good and everything is okay, you continue your pregnancy. But if there's any issue, it is managed as we do what, as we continue. It helps with the planning.
Yes.
So otherwise, really thank you so much, guys, for being with us. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure you share and like, and also subscribe, so that you can be able to get some more of this educational contents. Medical contents is here, and always be the first one to get this. So just subscribe, and the notification bell, touch on it, so that you can be able to be notified immediately we put some more videos on this. Thank you, guys, and have a lovely day.